Hi, welcome to a brand new video of the Target Individual Experience, the Target Individual Program. So let's see where I begin. This video here is from last Monday. I didn't do a video last week because I wanted to compile videos from the week. Alright, and also the way how the targeting went. So prior to last Monday, about I would say Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the targeting was very light because what they have been doing is what I call hit and run. Basically, they will target me very heavily one day. The next day, they would do it very subtle, with a lot of masking. And prior to that Monday, there wasn't really a lot of noise campaign for at least a couple of days before that Monday. So I was beginning to wonder, what was going on, what was happening, because normally on a daily basis there is heavy noise campaign. So leading up to last Monday, and that Monday that just passed, because today is Tuesday, June the 12th, but this was the ending of May. Towards the end of May, are my kids, my two boys' birthday. One is the 28th, one is the 31st of May. So they were pretty quiet in terms of the noise campaign. So, based on your experiences with TI, my experience with TI, we know that sometimes they will retreat back into their hole until they have the opportunity to come out and prance on you again. And then when the attention is brought on them, then they revert back into their hole, right? I think I used the term cockroaches. When the lights are off, the cockroaches, they come out, they're all over the place. But as soon as you turn on the light, they all scattered and go back into their holes, right? So that's how I kind of interpret the scenario in terms of how they target me, and as well as others TIs. They do the same thing. They will prance on you with numbers, noise, and I'm talking about numbers of people who participate in the targeting, the frequency, the blatancy, and then when the spotlight is on them or turned towards them, then they retreat back into their corner, their hole. So that was happening prior to June 4th, which is the Monday, last Monday. Okay, so Monday morning, and also that weekend, I had the kids. It was my weekend, plus it was their birthday weekend. It was the Memorial Day weekend also. So they, they enjoyed themselves on their birthdays. So Monday, I'm like, okay, but I got to do my daily recordings, So here I am, waiting to pick up Pam Monday morning to take her to work. And let's get the video playing. Okay, so I'm going to mute the volume because I don't want to get a copyright hit and have my video muted on YouTube. So as Pam comes, all of a sudden, this guy was standing there, and he was standing there for a good 10-15 minutes before Pam arrives. Okay, so I guess they've gotten word that Pam is coming, so he comes over here, and you see the girl walks by, and she raises up her sleeve so I can see her watch, right? She kind of flicks it towards me very briefly. Okay, let's show it again. Okay, as she approached, and see that? Shut. Let's see, you'll see it here, and then flicks it towards me. Now, when you look at your watch, and again, you know, when you study human behavior, right? When you look at your watch, no one really flicks their wrist all the way down there to look at their watch. They basically bring it up to their face or to with their waist area to look at their watch. And it was so brief, right, that you're like, is she really looking at her watch? No, she's not. Again, subliminal messages. See, so she didn't really look at it. It was more of a message for me. Okay, a subliminal message. Then he takes out his phone. Looks at me now. Okay, at that point, Pam gets in the car. So they knew she was coming, and that's why they started with the street theater, the noise campaign, right? Not the noise campaign, but the psychological harassment. Okay, so I'm going to speed this up because I have a few videos that I want to put on this video, and I want to get to the important parts. Okay, so let's go here. All right. So let me. 'Cause I think at this point I had turned off the radio.
I was gonna buy a washer and dryer all in one combo, which costs like $1,500.
So you hear the sirens in the background. The ambulance drives by.
Janine sent us this picture last night of these two cakes she wants. I'm like,
but isn't it her, you said her boyfriend?
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm gonna ask.
Okay, now, again, this is a masking technique that they do, right? So, for example, you know, you'll have adults with book bags, and then they will wait till they get close to me or in front of me to put on their book bag, and as they, you know, put their hands behind the back to put in the strap, they will use again the palm, the open palm behind the back kind of thing. So they mask it, okay, instead of, you know, a person not wearing a book bag who's doing it blatantly. And, you know, and also within last week also they've been using Pam a lot to do that exact same thing in front of me, okay. Even last night when, because it was, you know, my weekend for the kids, and we came back, you know, Ethan didn't have school, so I kept Alyssa home, and we were over at my house, and then we came back to Pam's house yesterday afternoon, and last night she walks in the house from work, and she sat right next to me, you know, kissed me on the cheek, and then she gets up and walk away, and then she takes her hand again, place it behind her, but this time she placed it on her butt, with her palms facing towards me, all of her fingers open, wide open, and then, puts her hand down and she walks off. Okay? So again, using her to target me. Take my daughter to school this morning, and we get to her classroom. The classroom was closed. There's another room right next to her classroom that was empty, because usually, kids are in there. So I was surprised that there was no kids there. So I went over across the hall to the other class, and I asked the teacher there, do you know what happened to the classroom, and there's no kids there. Now, the teacher in that classroom could have said to me, hey, all the kids in her classroom are in here waiting, you can leave your daughter here. But she didn't say anything. So I took my daughter, we went into the empty classroom, and we sat down until the other teachers came. Because my daughter's class, there's I think there's like one teacher and then two assistant teacher. So I knew that one of the assistant teacher was already there, because I heard one of the teachers said that. And then the teacher who was in charge of the pre-K program, not the teacher, but the person in charge of the pre-K program, I saw her and I said, hey, what happened? Where are all the kids? And she was like, oh, well, Miss Clark, who is my daughter's teacher, she's not here today. Okay. So then I'm like, well, where's the other kids? And she's like, oh, they're in the classroom across the hall. No, I had just went over to the classroom across the hall and asked the teacher about, my daughter's class, how come the door wasn't open. And she was like, she doesn't know. That's what she told me. Right? So again, these teachers, these people who participate in this, they don't want to tell you anything. They don't want to help you in any way. Knowing that the kids in my daughter's classroom, their parents had dropped them off in her classroom, and she could have said to me, hey, you know what, you can leave your daughter here. When the assistant teachers come, then they'll take them over to the other class. So I had to wait there in the empty classroom with my daughter. And then then when the two assistant teachers came, then I made sure my daughter was in the classroom, and I left. Okay? But this is the stuff that they'll do. Okay? So anyway, let's go back to the video.
These two kids she wants.
So we had just saw the ambulance pass, and
Yeah, I know.
now here we go. See that? Okay? Watch the guy as he walks across. Okay, you see the palm open up like that? Okay, a woman walks by and she bows her head. This guy comes in, with, again, it's a masking technique. So he has an earbud in his ears, and he twists the earbud, right? Kind of like, how they stick their finger in their ears and they twist their finger back and forth. So he twists the earbud in his ears, takes it off, looks at it, right? And again, we talk about human behavior here. Okay? So let's go through this again. Alright? Then see how he looks at it? Like, he twists it in his ears and then he looks at it. Like, does that make any sense to you? It doesn't make any sense to me that he would do it. I know why he's doing it. Okay? Again, subliminal messaging. Now, as soon as he passed, okay, you see where he looks? He looks over in this direction. Now, remember, traffic is going in the same direction he's looking. But the reason why he's looking in this direction, because he wants me to see, and he's looking because he knows that this police car was coming around the corner. Okay? So again, this is subliminal message. The police using these civilian perpetrators to do what is called indirect threats. Okay?
Been surprised me, like Jimmy is being highly detailed.
All right. So that was just this morning. So anyway, after I dropped Pam to work, I'm gonna see if this is the same video. It might be another video, but let me just fast forward. Let's go through this. All right, let's go to the other video. So drop her to work. I'm heading back to the block. Let's see here. Is it this one? Okay. All right. So heading back on the block. That's my phone ringing. Where were we? Okay. So now, later on in the afternoon, went to pick up the kids from school. Ethan, walking towards Ethan's school. Noise campaign starts. Fire truck.
No matter which direction you go,
let's go. Right. So now they have police vehicles stationed.
and then you want to say something like that?
Blocking the okay, basically blocking the pathway so that no one can cross over, or if they have to cross over, they will have to cross over in front of the police car or behind the police car. Okay, again, because again, you know, they want to do a show of force, so you know they'll send, and this time they're using 2 female police officers. Okay, and you know, now you as an individual cannot do this, okay? But I guess because they feel that the police, that they can, you know, do whatever they want, right? I mean, that's the premise, that's their belief, right? Once they put that badge and that gun on, they can do whatever they want, right? Including impede someone's ability to cross the street, because if you have done this exact same thing, they were surely giving your ass a ticket. Okay, but again, the purpose is there, again, using these 2 female police officers as part of the, you know, subliminal threats. So now,
and I'll be there to take them.
she walks by, she bows her head.
And I
because you know, sometimes they think I'm not recording, so when they actually see me recording, they're like, oh shoot, you know, well, we got caught. So then you'll see them bowing their head.
And I'll be there to take them.
Okay. And so we're
there
walking
you go.
in, Ethan to pick up Alyssa now. The same fire truck that you heard previously has now turned up on this street right here, and made the left onto this block. Okay, onto the next block. And
Again, let's see if I can zoom in.
there they
guys
go
can
right
see.
there. Okay, so there they go right there. Same fire truck. Okay, so that was Monday. Okay, now that was the 4th. Tuesday, you know, again, like I said, they wasn't doing a lot of the heavy-handed targeting. It was very subtle. And actually, that day I didn't drive Pam to work. I actually walked the kids to school. All right. So Tuesday after I took Ethan, and Tuesday I also walk the kids to school. I didn't drive Pam.
Like I said, they always gotta
dropped off my daughter after taking Ethan to school. After dropping him off, dropped off my daughter, and this is where I usually exit out when I drop off Alyssa, especially if I'm walking, and also when I pick her up, me, her, and Ethan will walk this direction to go home. And so,
find some way. Leaving at my daughter's school this morning, and look at this cop gonna pass. Gonna parked up, you know, in the construction.
so let's think about this for a minute, okay? Here you have a police vehicle parked up in an active construction site, okay? Now, you may say, well, why is he parked there? All right, we got to think about this, and again, and this is where people don't really think, right? So it's not as if he's parking somewhere where he can catch somebody who may run the red light or somebody that's speeding, because you can see now. Usually, you know, this block, Church Avenue, over here, you know, there's always traffic over here, so you know, there's no one speeding around here, and so
Site.
this is where he walks. Lights flashing. And you see the girl that just walked past with the red hat on? Let's go back here. We can see her. Okay. So, when she saw me, she looks over at the police vehicle, then looks at me. Okay? And I'm like, okay. And now
Everybody walking past, looking at the cop, and then looking at me.
that's what
The girl just walked past there. I see this woman in there. She's cleaning her hair. Can she see me?
this person here, same thing.
Put them on camera. Look at this dude
So
here.
this individual here, the same thing.
Yeah, man, looking up at the sky.
Then you go to the sky.
Looking for the sky, daddy. Sky, daddy.
Now, see again, trying to silence me, right? Be quiet. Don't say anything. Okay. So, like I said, you know, they will run back into their hole, but you know, a day, 2, 3 days later, they'll crawl right back out and continue doing the same thing. Okay, so this is never ending.
On the camera.
And she's walking,
bow your
she's gonna
head.
bow her head. Also, one of the things they've been doing lately is staring down at my feet. Now, I wear these New Balance shoes. Let me show you guys. Okay, now please note that I'm not trying to trigger anybody, so if anybody feels triggered by this, I apologize. It's not my intent, but I want to show you because lately they've been staring at my feet, at my shoes, right? I mean, my shoes on my feet, right? So, you know, so this is my shoes, okay? These New Balances. And of course, you know, in our targeting, they like to use colors in our targeting. So I'm thinking that maybe they conditioned me to the color green. Okay. just an educated guess, being that I've studied this program, the tactics, the techniques that they've engaged, the illegal mind control program, okay, whatever you may want to call it, coercive persuasion, thought reform, behavior modification, it's all mind control, okay? So don't let them try to put these politically correct terms to make you think that it's not brainwashing, it's not mind control. That's exactly what it is, okay? And so, they've been doing that a lot lately, and so I'm just like, okay, let's see what they come up with next, because like I said, everything that they do, I will expose it, all right? And again, that noise you're hearing is my cane, okay? All right, so that was on the 5th, okay? Now, on the 6th,
Just left the house.
okay, I did drop Pam to work, but I didn't record, because sometimes, you kind of anticipate when they're going to start targeting you, because the way they target you so much, you start to see the pattern. And sometimes you get pretty good at identifying the pattern and knowing when they're going to target you heavily and not, right? So in the morning, I didn't record because I knew after yesterday, with the type of targeting that they did, that they weren't going to target me as heavily. Because again, they never want you to show a pattern of harassment, particularly a consistent pattern of harassment. Okay, because again, when you do show a consistent pattern of harassment, then that is indefinite proof. There's no way anyone can deny it and say, hey, this is not a pattern of harassment. It is. It's like every single day you step out of your apartment building and there's a fire truck rolling down your block, speeding, sirens loud, every single minute, every single time, every single day for an entire, let's say for 2 weeks. And you're able to show this, right? By you saying to yourself, okay, when I walk up my door, I'm going to start recording. When I walk out of my apartment building, there's going to be a fire truck passing by with the sirens going off. And every time you do that, every day you do that, and you record it, you have shown a consistent pattern that has been taking place. So now you can say, you know what? Yes, I'm being harassed. I'm being tracked also. So how do they know that I'm leaving my apartment or my house at this particular time? And it doesn't matter, the hour or the minute that you leave your apartment or your house would be different, but every time you do, there's a consistency in terms of a fire truck or a police car, what have you, driving by, right? And you're able to show this. Okay, that's intangible proof. So again, they don't want us as TIs to show that. Okay, but again, we can show a consistent level of harassment, and it may not be every single day that they're doing it that we're able to capture it, but in terms of how they do it, okay, when they do it, and an understanding that, yeah, they don't want you to have a consistent level of proof to show exactly what they're doing. But I've done enough videos to show that this is exactly what happened. So immediately as I exit out the building, started walking up the block to go pick up the kids, the fire truck. Okay, now keep in mind, right, as this video progresses, you're going to see something that I'm going to explain it.
And you can hear the noise campaign already. I'm on my way to pick up the kids from school.
And I've shown a consistency in this, right? Every time I go to, not every time, but the majority of the time that I go to pick up, I would say 95% of the time that I leave this apartment and this apartment building to go pick up my kids from school, there's some type of noise. You'll see ambulances, police cars, fire trucks, and it never ends, right?
Synchronization with the fire trucks, the noise campaign.
That's me just singing to myself. Got to do something to keep my mind
that.
at least not so much occupied. Now let's go back here to this female that just this woman.
What you want with that?
Let's see if I call her again. She, you know. Let's go back here. She takes out her phone when she sees me. See that?
What you want with that?
And then she starts looking at it, holding up to her face. Okay. There's more of them. So you count 2
Let's see the
here.
emergency.
That's 3 here. Plus there was 2 more on the left side, and I believe there was 1 on the right.
Let's see the emergency. Now you see, as soon as I approach, did you see the?
Now this is where they all stop at. The intersection between Bedford and Church Avenue. Okay, so you had 2 fire trucks in the direction that I'm walking, that was coming down, as you saw in the video. 2 more coming in the opposite direction. 2 more coming from the left, and 1 on the right. You know, a total complete blockage. Okay, of that intersection. Okay, there's no fire. There's no fire. There's nothing. No accident. Nothing like that. Okay?
Smoke, nothing.
No fire. No accidents. Nothing like that.
Now they're gonna go on the way. One is turning left. The other one is turning right. There's no emergency.
Again, the waste of resources. Do you know how much money it costs in terms of fuel for them to be doing this? Okay, that's your money. That's the taxpayers' money that they wasted. But they don't care, right? But yet they can never find money for important things. They can never find money to pay teachers more. They can never find money to fund additional educational program. They can never find money to help the homeless. They can never find money to help people in need, but they can find the money to do shit like this. Okay?
Okay, so they all intersect Church and Bedford. There's no emergency. Now he's turning back around. See? No emergency.
And also, I thought I had captured it on video, but there was this guy that walks across the street, and he goes, "False alarm," and that was when they all turned around.
You hear he says false alarm?
Dick riding buckle. Which way you going? Yes, your phone just happened and it just exploded like a volcano.
Okay. Now, here's the question. Okay. Well, all this noise campaign that's going on a daily basis to target me, all right? And a lot of people may say, well, why would the government do this to you, right? And, you know, for those people, all I got to say is educate yourself. Okay, that's all I got to say, because, you know, people who are not educated don't know. And if you don't want to educate yourself on the subject, in terms of, you know, the government silencing dissidents, those who they find as a threat, or even people that they are experimented on and want to keep silent, you know, that's all I got to say to you, just educate yourself. Okay? Don't be arrogant. Don't be ignorant. Just educate yourself. Okay? Now, as I was saying, so with all this noise campaign going on a daily basis, you have children in school. You have a high school that's there, and then further down the block, you have an elementary school. Okay? Now, you don't think that what they're doing wouldn't have some type of psychological effect on these kids? And if you believe when they say it wouldn't and it doesn't, then you're a fool. And again, you know, hence the reason why society is so dumbed down, because they're willing to believe and accept everything that the government, particularly also these psychiatrists, psychologists who are working for government agencies. Okay, because remember, these people are working to protect the government. They're not there to protect you or I. Okay, and if you don't understand that, then you know your children, as they get older, there will be an effect that you might not have intended by participating in this, but will happen. Okay, all right, because the constant noise every single day on the minds of young children. Because I remember how it was for me, and it was devastating for me in the beginning. So for these children to go through this on a daily basis, okay, and you think it's okay to have your kids in this sort of program or participate in this sort of program, these brainwashing programs, you know, that you think that these kids are not going to suffer long-term psychological effect from this, you're crazy. Okay, I'm not the one who's crazy. You're crazy. And again, educate yourself. Okay?
Yeah, you talk about false alarm. They know exactly what they're doing.
Okay.
This is the illegal tracking.
You'll see the woman with a red shirt here as she walks by. She does this. Gets close. There you go. See that? Okay.
This is the illegal tracking, harassment, psychological warfare.
And they think that, you know, they're just hurting me, right? Psychologically, that all the stuff that they're doing just affecting me, right? Tell you,
Being operated and run by
society today.
the NYPD and the FBI.
Okay? But they think that, and then you see the guy looking up at the sky. As soon as I walk by, she kicks up her feet. Okay? And let's go back for a minute. Okay? She kicks her feet as she sees me, and then she does this. Okay? Let me see if I can turn this to the camera. This is what she does. Okay? Again, making your finger like a gun, right? Except they try to mask it. Again, this is a masking technique that they use. Okay, so the video ended here, and then I got Ethan, we went to pick up Alyssa.
You see, they're not done yet. Picking up Alyssa as I approach.
Alright, so let's go back here. And you'll see cover her mouth right there. Again, it's another way of trying to semi-subliminal, silent subliminal, being quiet.
No, I know the best of you. I know she did. She ran.
Come on.
Now, as you see me approaching, one was inside, the other one came out of the truck.
Look at them. They don't want to show their face. Bunch of cowards. You see, as I approached, he got out of the fire truck, and he did that palm behind, open palm behind the back thing. All right.
Okay. Now, see, again, I suspect, because I watched this video and I didn't realize it when I was recording it. But again, you know, they didn't realize that I was recording. Okay, so watch. Of
course, they never want to show their face. Here they go. So you get their face.
Turns around, sees me now, right? And he sees I have the phone out, and now he's bowing his head because he doesn't want to be seen. So let's identify this, this guy on camera. So people will.
But of course, they never want to show their face. Here they go. So you get their face.
Okay, so yeah, he is. You can view this in full screen. Alright, so now he sees me. He knows that he's being recorded. Okay? Now he bows his head because he walks fast. He doesn't want to shoot.
Yeah, well, he must want to be identified. Come on.
Okay? And then the other guy now, he's across the street. Okay, and he's going to walk over to this corner.
They must want to be identified.
Actually, I thought he was wanting to be identified. That's the reason why he turned around, but he didn't realize that I was recording. Okay? That's what happened. He did not realize that I was recording.
Come on, Lisa.
So let's see here again.
I mean, the
See her again.
tomorrow, Friday.
Now, what really, you know, it doesn't shock me that black people will participate in this. Not just black people, but Asian people, any other group. See, I can understand white people doing this because they've always done stuff like this. You know, you look at the KKK, the same type of tactics. You look at Germany, same propaganda tactics they use. Then they use against TI to get the community to hate the TI. Okay, and want to drive the TI out of the community. Yeah, eventually even hoping that this TI would commit suicide to destroy the TI's life. And listen, I'm just speaking the truth. Doesn't mean I'm anti-white, anything like that, because I'm not. I'm anti whoever is trying to destroy my life, whether you're black, white, Asian, you know, what have you, Indian, what have you. Doesn't matter. If you're trying to destroy my life, yeah, I hate you. I'm anti you. Okay, but I can't not speak the truth. Okay, and then you look at the people who have generally created these sort of programs, who create these sort of tactics. I hate to say it, but the truth is, it's generally white people. In the beginning of my targeting, I was never targeted by these other groups of people. It was mainly white people, and a lot of them were skinheads. Okay, and then it progressed and moved on to the black community, and then other groups. Then they started using Middle Eastern people. The proper word for them, Arabs, I guess you would call them. I'm not talking about Muslims, because there are a lot of Arabs who are Muslim, and there are other people who are Muslim too. I'm just speaking of their ethnicity, not their religion. So, that's what happened.
Saturday, Sunday,
And they got the red theme.
I mean Monday. And I get 40 off.
Okay. And so, like I said, I even noticed that within my children. Like, sometimes they'll hear the police sirens and they'll be like, "Daddy, oh, here go that police sirens again." Or, "Daddy, here's that fire truck making noise again." So again, if you don't think it affects children, you're wrong. If you don't think it's going to affect your children, the joke's on you. So you go ahead. Okay, so
Hold Ethan's hand.
Come out.
let's go.
Just pull into the. Come on.
Stop pulling my finger. I'm hurt.
Just pull into the gas station. Yeah. Come on, guys.
All right, I forgot about this guy right here. So Again,
Stop pulling
this
my.
guy, and I should have recorded the license plate because again, his license plate had the number 32 in it, right? But you know, for some reason I didn't. So he pulls into the. Let me see if I can. Here you go. Here you go. So you'll see. So he just wants to cut me off now, right?
What?
Okay. Let's see here. I get a good picture
yeah.
here. Get a good picture of it. But anyway.
Okay. Ethan, hold your sister hand.
Come here. Come here. Come here.
Hold Ethan's hand.
Come here.
He goes again.
Why are you pulling my finger? Stop pulling my finger.
Come on.
Stop pulling my finger. I'm hurt.
Just pull into the gas station. Yeah. Come on, guys.
Now I'm holding my finger.
Step back.
Don't put that back in my face.
Step back.
She lit the thing inside. I read it, and then she put it back in my face.
Come on, let's go.
I tried to get the my bagel.
Let's go. Come on. Let's leave it.
As you see, I'm continuing recording because they're not done. And so once I start recording,
But she lit the thing.
I can tell.
She thought I read her back in my
Why did you do that? You know you're not gonna eat it.
continuing
I keep telling you to stop doing stuff like that, okay? Cut it out.
Okay, because of not acting right. So again, the woman in front of me again, of course she's the hand. She actually didn't put her hands behind her head like you normally do, but again, it's all masking. Once the hands is raised, once you've already been conditioned, they don't have to do it exactly the way they've done it in the beginning. They can just do it in a subtle way, and you'll pick up on it. Okay. Now, this woman here, let's go. Okay. She did this, but then when she realized that I was recording, she stopped. Again, these people, and that's the reason why I continued recording, because I knew right here that they wouldn't stop. Okay, and so I have to keep recording. Okay. All right. So, that was what happened. All right. Let's see here if I. Okay, so there are other videos that I'm not going to have so many of them, but I just want to, get to the relevant one. So now, Friday, leaving with the kids to go to my house, As again, it's my weekend with the kids. My eldest was coming down that Friday to my house, so I took the kids, and we're on our way to my house. Okay, and turn onto Linden Boulevard. Okay. So now this is just one block over. This is Rogers. And where are we at here? Okay, so I think I might have missed it here. Okay, there we go. Okay, and so as I approach, is it this one? This block? It might have been the next block, but let's see if the camera picked it up. But there was another police car that was almost at the corner. I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up. Right here. There we go. Let's see. Let's go back. Okay. Okay, so they're right there. If you saw that white vehicle, that was a police car. Okay. And now let's go back here again. Go back some more. Okay, right there is a police car. Now watch the civilians here, right? Again, civilians working in tandem with the police. Okay, and do a hand signal. Okay, now as I pass, the light is going to change. And guess who's going to pull up alongside me? And I didn't even pay them no mind. I didn't even look over in their direction because I knew exactly. I knew they wanted me to look over at them. Okay. See, so there they go. There they pull up. Now, you know, listen, I have police vehicles pulling alongside me all the time, or in the back of me, or in the front of me. But there are particular times when I'm being targeted in a certain way, particularly when they're using the police, that I know that that police car that's in front of me, in the side of me, or behind me is part of the harassment, is part of the intimidation. Okay? And you begin as a TI to recognize these things. Now in the beginning, it may be a little difficult at first. Just like, I've seen police walk on the street all the time. They walk in front of me, they walk alongside of me. Is when they walk towards me, and the minute they see me, they start putting their hands on their weapons. Then, again, those are indirect threats. Okay? And so, as a TI, you if you've been through this for a number of years, you begin to recognize the pattern and to see the coercive nature in the things that they're doing. The psychological threat, the coercive threat against your life, against your children's life, what have you, using family and friends, to isolate you, placing you under post-hypnotic suggestions, microwaving your household when there are people around you, and you'll know when you're being microwaved because of what is called synchronization, okay, which is when certain movements are repeated, certain things are repeated. So like I said, when they start using Pam to target me, she would, pinch her nose, she would walk in front of me with her hands behind her back, her palm facing towards me, fingers open, that sort of thing. And so when you start to see that, and it starts to happen frequently, and also does she do it, but they'll have the kids do it too. So at that point, I know that we're being microwaved. And also that too, but start getting the headaches, the earaches again. At the same time I'm getting the headaches, I'm getting earaches. So all of this stuff have been occurring while this was happening. Okay? And so make no mistake about it. So when you look at the incident in Cuba, incident in China, in which the diplomats were talking about some of the tactics that are being used, is exactly the same thing. And now the incident in China, you had one of the diplomats saying that, in his apartment, the upstate neighbor would, whatever room that he went to, they would follow him and they would roll marbles on the floor. And this happened over the weekend. When I was in the house, I went to the kitchen, and the upstairs neighbor were rolling a ball, looked like and it was very heavy because I can hear it, as I went into the kitchen, as I went into the hallway, the same thing. And and again, recognized it, right? And because they knew that another TI and I were talking about the exact same thing that had happened to her, as well as what happened to the diplomat in China with the exact same thing happening, of course then they gotta do it to me also, But if you're a TI and you're new and they have you in a psychological mess, you wouldn't want to talk to other TIs, because the minute they mention their experience with you, they're going to do the same thing to you. And that's going to scare you off. And it's meant to scare you off. That's the purpose, But as TIs, we share each other's experience, right? And then they will try to use that on other TIs to get them not to engage with you, not to come onto your calls, not to watch your videos, because again, the fear of what is being said on the shows or on the video, they're going to do it to them. But what you as a TI have to understand, they're going to do it to you regardless. This is part of the tactic, okay? This is part of the operational manuscript. Okay, these tactics that they do. So don't think because you're not listening to a show or not hearing another TI experience that they're not going to do something to you. They're going to do it to you. Okay, they just don't want you to talk about it, right? And so they'll do a lot of things to prevent you, to try and prevent you from talking about it. Like for me, again, I always talk about how they try to use my children, against me. How they go through steering campaign, how they have the kids at my son's school bullying him, that sort of thing. And, they do it because they think I'm going to be quiet. So every time they do that, right, they know that, it pisses me off, okay? I'm not hurt by it. I'm pissed off about what is that they're doing to my kids. and they think that, oh, okay, he's going to be quiet now, right? So let's say if 2 days go by, I don't post a video, they're thinking that, oh, okay, well, we got him, he's all quiet now, and so now they'll constantly do this in front of me because they see I'm not taking out my camera, and I do it for a reason, okay? Because I know sooner or later they're going to get so comfortable and they think that, oh yeah, well, we've got him now, he's going to be quiet now, that now they're going to start to attack you. And this is exactly what they want. The minute that you become silent, they will attack you with the ferocity that never before. Because now they think that, now, oh well, we can keep doing this and we're going to get away with it because you're not going to say anything. All right, so your silence is giving them permission. Your complacency to speak about what's being done is giving them even more permission to do what it is that they're doing. What they're doing to you is they're manufacturing consent by you remaining silent. Okay? Understand this. Okay. So let's go. Let me speed this up a little bit here. Here we go. Wait, you know, they'll do stuff. Let's see here. I think coming at this bus stop. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they were using this woman here. Let's go back. You'll see her at the corner. Now she sees me, she's going to turn and walk this way now. And also she sticks her finger in her ears. Now again, watch the direction that she was turned to. Okay, so she's turned as if she's getting ready to walk across the street, waiting for the light to change to walk across the street. But that's not it. This guy here, again, perhaps he's walking, he bows his head as he's walking across, as I'm approaching, because you're going to see him. Okay, let's go. So you see him at the corner. Okay, that's him right here. The light changed. He could have walked at any time. Okay, but he's going to wait till he gets till I get close. He walks, bows his head. Again, this woman, now she turns. Okay, now you see quick finger in the ears. And she turns and walks. Okay, this is what you have to look for. If you're not a TI and a TI is showing you videos of his or her psychological harassment, understand these things. Look for these things, because that's how you know that this individual is being targeted. Okay, you look at the behavior of these people. Okay. And of course, the ridiculousness of people walking with their pants down, showing their underwear. You know, it's just totally ridiculous. All right, so where are we at here? So, and I had not looked at this video prior to doing this this video here, so that's why I'm going back, because sometimes I may see something that I missed. You know, a lot of times I don't remember a lot of this stuff that had happened until I go back to the video and watch it again. Alright, so now again you'll see them use the homeless theme, Alright, so you see the homeless guy standing over there? Now he's gonna move because now he sees me. Alright? So he was standing there waiting for me to approach. Okay? And let me go back because you'll see. Let's go back a little bit more. Let's see here. Go back a little bit more. Okay, alright, so let's see here. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Alright. So see, he's standing there. He's looking. You know, he's looking to see if I'm approaching because he knows I'm coming. Right? Again. You give him instructions. You know I'm coming. Now he sees me. So now okay. That's what you call using the homeless theme. And over the weekend, I took my daughter out. We went to the bank, and then we went to the Dollar Tree, and they kept using homeless people. All right. So I'm thinking to myself, why all of a sudden there's such an influx of homeless people in my neighborhood now, especially around my block, which, you know, you barely see them. You know, I mean, listen, people can go wherever they want to go, right? But as a TI, you know the type of tactics, the type of themes, the street theater that they like to do. You recognize the patterns, the themes. And so that right there was the homeless theme. Because you saw the homeless guy there. He was basically looking. He was waiting there for me. And then when he sees me, because when I pull up from behind the car, he sees me. He's like, okay, that's him. Then he starts to walk across. He's looking at me. And he starts walking across. Okay? So, again, that's themes that they use, you know, continuously. You know, they may stop using one theme for a while, but eventually they will recycle that theme and use it again. And it's all, whenever they feel they have the opportunity to do these things, that is when you'll see them using it. Okay? Because it's been a while since they used the homeless theme. Okay? I remember, they're always plotting, always scheming. Okay? And again, guy walks across, and you see how he turns the palm of his hand. You see that. Okay? So, it's nothing new. I've shown it, continued to show it, what it is that they do. And we'll continue in the future to show exactly what it is that they do. Okay, so now I am on my block and got parking. And so, again, so now let's talk about certain things, right? In psychologicalharassment.com, they talk about criminal harassment network using smear campaign strategy, uttering threats, which I've shown and explained countless times in these videos. Okay, and it's to get you, the TI or the targeted person, into reacting with aggressiveness, right? And this is interesting because I've talked about this even before, way before I found this website, right? So it says one psychological manipulation that criminals harassment participants try to do is to try to lead the targeted citizen to believe that if they act aggressively, the participant will be fearful. Okay, now earlier on, and I've said this even on my talk show, which recently I found out that TalkShoe, they are deleting all of the shows prior to 2015. And what that tells me is that the perpetrators, the orchestrators of this criminal program, okay, want to silence us. They want to erase any evidence of us speaking about what we have been through, what we are going through. That's a phone call here. That we are going through. And so, because again, a lot of this technology is being exposed, okay, particularly with what's happening in Cuba and China with these so-called sonic weapons. And so they want to make it seem as if these weapons have recently been developed, okay, which is a lie. They've been developed for decades now. They've just been using us as TIs as experiments to perfect these weapons so they can use it on an even larger scale. And so people have to understand this. And also the psychological tactics. Early on in my shows, I talked about how they used to try to make me believe that by doing negative things, that my targeting would stop. By getting angry, my targeting would stop. By cursing people out, by wanting to harm people, my targeting would stop, right? Because they would be fearful of me. And this was a trick. This was a trick to get you to act out angrily, to behave negatively. Okay? Because if you think that by behaving negatively is going to give you positive results, then you're going to do it. It's reshaping your mind to turn acting negative as something that's good, and acting in a good and decent way is bad. So for example, whenever I was nice to someone, they would target me even more heavily. So understanding this, so again, the stuff that we as TIs go through, it's already been documented. There are countless others who've gone through the same thing, have taken the time to basically expose what it is these people are doing, okay? And, you know, learn about this stuff now before they get rid of a lot of these information that's online, because eventually they will do it, okay, in order to hide what they're doing, okay? And just like the other site that I used to go to a lot, it's called factnet.org. They've shut down that site, and which basically gave you wealth of information in terms of cult behavior, coercive persuasion programming within religious organizations, and how they use religion to condition and brainwash people and to get them to participate in these sort of programs. And they've basically shut that site down. So a lot of information that used to be available to us as TIs are no longer exist, particularly those on direct energy weapons. They used to have, you know, the you used to find PDF files from the military that talks about direct energy weapons. You can find those documents online because they have gotten rid of the online sites or the link to those documents. So they're trying to go dark. I guess you have to understand that. So yeah, so be aware of these things, understand these things, okay? They will try to manipulate you. They will and they will manipulate you, you know. And if the information is not if you haven't gotten to the information fast enough, yeah, they will manipulate you into doing things, and it's going to be to your detriment. Okay. So, see you and speak to you guys on the next video.